Hey guys, I'm Dimension Jumper and today I'll be reviewing Pokemon Legends Arceus, which was released on the 28th of January of this year. Now, the main plot of Legends Arceus is that the main character, that being you, is tasked with completing the first ever Pokédex in the region of Siri, which will later become known as the Sinnoh region. And along the game, you basically help the professor of the region fill out the Pokédex, as well as help out restore each Pokemon Lord back to normal, because at the start of the game there's this lightning strike which hits these Lord Pokemon guys from a dimensional rift that you have come out from, and that's basically up to you to not only fill out the Pokédex, but as well as calm down each Lord. And throughout the game you go to different biomes or different areas around the region that are basically different climates. So you've got your normal standard area, you've got your lava area, your water level area, your ice area, that sort of thing. And I think the game does a really good job of showing the different climates of the history region. Like, you can only see certain Pokemon in the normal area, like all the grassy area, like your Bidoofs, your Starlies, your Staravias, your Shinxes, that sort of thing. Then in the fiery type areas, you've got Magmar, Magby, Hisuian, Growlithe, that sort of thing. And of course in the icy areas you've got Glalie, Snova, those kinds of Pokemon. And I think the game does a really good job of showing us the different kinds of Pokemon that you can find in the game. And I think it does a really good job of showing how each Pokemon just does their own thing. And I do like how in the game you can just catch different amounts of Pokemon, and I also like how the Pokédex in Legends Arceus is completely different from the Pokédexes that we've seen in Sword and Shield, Red and Blue, Black and White, because with those Pokédexes they are all automatic, in which as soon as you call a Pokemon, the entry will be filled in and then you can just move on. Whereas with Pokemon Legends Arceus, the Pokédex is basically this notebook thing in which you're given different tasks for different Pokemon in order to fill out each entry. And I think that's a really interesting way of filling out the Pokédex, because there's some things to do is basically catching some Pokemon, evolving them, using certain moves, give them specific food, and I think that's really interesting to see of how we can catalogue each Pokemon, instead of just okay, catch this Pokemon, move on. And I think that's a really cool, interesting way of filling out the Pokédex. And now it's time for some gameplay. Now, when it comes to the gameplay of Legends Arceus, it's basically the same as any other Pokemon game, but with a few key differences. The first one is that you can basically throw your Pokemon at any other wild Pokemon in the area, and you can basically choose out of the four different moves you can use. So let's say I would go for Thunderfang. Hippowdon will then use Thunderfang on the Bidoof, and then etc. The Pokemon will faint, and then my team will get experience. And kind of like with Pokemon X and Y, Pokemon Oras and Sword and Shield, all of the team members get experience altogether. And another thing is that you can hide yourself from Pokemon, so that means you have like a better advantage of getting them, or either battling them or catching them. So let's say I do that, and then they didn't spot me, and now I have caught a Starly, which is good. And also you can throw your Pokemon at different things like trees, so you can get like delivered orange berries and stuff like that, which is good, because then you're given a certain amount, which then helps you craft different items, like the standard Pokeball, Great Ball, Ultra Ball, and then all the other different kinds of Pokeballs. And then you've got, you know, your potions, your revives, and then also your smoke bombs and your scatter bombs, which basically help you catch Pokemon a lot more easier. Now, I haven't really used these items personally, because I think just trying to like battling them is a bit easier in my opinion, because I kind of prefer fighting them. And you can also have different ride Pokemon. So the first one you get is the evolved version of I forgot what it's called. It's the deer one. It's what's it called? Standler, the full form of Standler, which is basically a new form. And this guy basically just helps you get around the world faster, which I think is quite nice. And every single ride Pokemon in this game all have their own abilities. Now, also with the trees and some of the ore deposits, you will sometimes see them shake, and they will sometimes have a Pokemon in them. Like, for example, with this one you've got a Burmy, and you can use them for different, and you can basically battle them just like any other Pokemon. Now, you can do things called strong and agile moves, and these are basically moves of fighting Pokemon. And with strong styles, from what I know from experience, they basically make the battles go faster, so they do more damage. While with agile moves, that basically means you have a more chance of catching Pokemon, because agile moves do less damage, and strong styles do more damage. So, and this is what an agile kind of looks like. It's kind of like the same as, you know, a strong style, but it will do less damage than a strong style move. But all these Pokemon are basically your standard weak Pokemon, and also, okay. And sometimes when you come across Shining Ore, that means you can get more stuff, like more sellable items like Stardust, and I think a bit more deposits from it, which I think is quite cool. And also, what I like about each area is that you can fight the boss of each area again once you defeated them. So I'm going to show you with the first one. I think Cleavor. So you can have a rematch with these guys, which I think is quite nice and quite cool, because then you can just refight them again. And I think they're a lot harder than when you first fight them, because I think they do a lot more damage. Yeah, and you yourself can get hit by the enemies or by the Pokemon, which I think is quite nice, because it's very different from other Pokemon games, where it's just your Pokemon can get damaged by other Pokemon, whereas with this game you can get damaged yourself, either by Pokemon or by fall damage. So yeah, and this I think the bosses in this game is quite nice. It's very different from your standard gym battles, because with the gyms, it's just use a specific type for that gym, and then you win. Whereas with this, it's basically just using everything you can to basically defeat the particular boss, which I think is quite nice. And let's do strong attack and hydro pump, which I think is quite nice. And also the animations, I think, is a huge improvement over like the other games, especially like from Sword and Shield and like Sun and Moon, because with those games they just are like with those animations they're just like you press the button and then that was it. Whereas with this game, you get to see the Pokemon doing the specific moves in a specific animation. So yeah, so like with Stone Axe, you can see Cleavor doing that, and then with Samurott, you can see him just using Hydro Pump and stuff like that. And also, again, stuff comes, like some other stuff come back from the previous games, like burns and poison and stuff. Also adding with some added stuff like things like Cleavor's Stone Axe, which basically works like spikes, in the fact that it does damage over time, which I think is quite nice. And yeah, so there's just some more bombs, and yeah, and that's been it for the gameplay. Now time to go back to the review. So another thing I like about the game is all the different Hisuian variants. Now this is basically like how Sword and Shield and Sun and Moon did it with their variant versions of different Pokemon, in which in those games, like Sun and Moon, they had Alolan Raichu, Alolan Sandshrew, Ninetales, that kind of thing. Whereas in Legends Arceus, they've got some of the same things in terms of how some of the Pokemon are shown off in this game. Like the starters, the final evolutions, there being Decidueye, Typhlosion, and Samurott, in which they have different forms and different, as well as an extra type. So with Decidueye, he basically looks like the samurai looking guy, who, and instead of being a grass ghost, is now a grass fighting type. And from what I've heard, Hisuian Decidueye isn't that well liked, but from what I've seen, I personally like the look of Hisuian Decidueye, just because I think it's mainly because of the leaves that's on it, and I think it's a really cool design, and I just feel like it's nice. It's completely different from when you look at normal Decidueye without being just grass ghost, and I think the fighting type suits it really well, and I just really love the hat on it, like the clothes, the leaves that makes it clothes around its face, that sort of thing. That's really cool. Then you've got Hisuian Samurott, which is a water dark type. Now this is cool. I do like the shell on its head, and I like the shells on its arms, and I think it's really cool. It's kind of like this sort of samurai type thing, and I think the dark type suits it quite well. I think it's interesting, and I think it's a really fun design. I like the whole moustache, like kind of being a wavy and a lot longer than regular Samurott. Then there's Hisuian Typhlosion. Now I'm not a big fan from what I've seen of Hisuian Typhlosion, mainly because I think Hisuian Typhlosion looks too much like regular Typhlosion. So if like here's normal Typhlosion and here's Hisuian Typhlosion, they kind of look the same, and because like Hisuian Typhlosion is fire ghost, and I don't think I don't think the ghost type suits it really well. The only ghost type that I can kind of see with it is its flames. It's kind of like this spiritual flame fire thing, but apart from that, I don't think Hisuian Typhlosion is the best looking starter. It looks too much like normal Typhlosion. I kind of wish there was a much more better version, or just like if Typhlosion had a bit more of the ghost type to him instead of just being, he looks too much more, because like he just looked like too much of a fire type to me, and I'm just not a big fan of Hisuian Typhlosion. So yeah, so I do really enjoy all of the new stuff in the game, like I said before, the Hisuian Pokemon, and I do like how in this game you've got the whole different areas when they're all this giant open areas. It's kind of like the wild areas in Sword and Shield, where you could find different Pokemon in the different areas. Like you could find ground types near the rocky areas, the ice types near the snowy areas, that kind of thing. So it's kind of like, it kind of reminds me of that, but I think a lot better and a lot more shown off in Legends of Arceus, just because of how each biome, as I said before, shows off each Pokemon and shows them what they're doing in a specific thing. And yeah, overall I would say Legends of Arceus is an enjoyable game. I highly suggest getting this game and just playing through the game as much as you can, and playing the game from start to finish, because like I think the main story with you helping out help the Lord's Pokemon guys calm down from their frenzies is a nice, interesting, different way of playing the game. And I'm not going to go too much into post-game stuff, but I can say that one of the bosses, or one of the trainers that you fight during the post-game, is on par with Cynthia in terms of how difficult their boss fight is. I'm not going to go too much into detail so you can experience themselves, but do prepare for that Cynthia type boss level fight thing. And so yeah, so overall I would suggest go play Legends of Arceus. It's an enjoyable game, and you will have fun playing this game. So that's been my review for Pokemon Legends Arceus. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.